Well, hello there and welcome to the candy wallpapered upstairs hallway of the dollhouse for another reading from The Secret Language of Birthdays by Gary Goldschneider and you Stelfers for January 28th, the day of outstanding achievement. And here at the top of the page is a visual representational image of the day of outstanding achievement. Well, we have us an image of, what could it be? Boom, it looks to be a hand truck in an oversized cabbage and or a regular sized cabbage in an undersized hand truck. This is a little bit of a theme here with the visual representational images to say one thing is oversized and the other under or vice versa. Kind of interesting that Aquarius is bringing this up. It doesn't necessarily mean anything, it's just something of note. And I also just kind of wanted you to see what I have staring at me here on the page. That having been said, visual representational image aside, who's to say maybe it makes some kind of connotation with as much as we get on with the read, but not altogether all too important. Not when it's January 28th and it's somebody's birthday. No, what is important in that case is wishing you a happy birthday. That's right. So I just want to say happy birthday. If you take nothing else away from the video here, I hope you get that. In any event, sometimes these videos find folks late, and if that's the case, I just want to say I hope you had a happy birthday. But having said that, other people who like to join us randomly or more ideally to celebrate, I just want to say hello, welcome, and I hope you enjoy yourself. Now, before I dive in with the redirect, I like to take a moment to roll some dice. That's right, this is the DykASSt birthday broadcast, so I like to live up to the namesake, but I also do so more importantly for synchronicity's sake. And here I rolled a 6 and 5, 4 and 11. That's right, your daily numbers 6 and 5. Now, what is synchronicity? You're probably wondering if you're new to these videos here. Well, my friends, as I've heard it told, the universe will put things in our path to help us realize our goals or manifest our aspirations. But all too often, we have the blinders on to what's going on around us. Yeah, we might see things, but we don't necessarily see what context is behind them or how they may benefit us, or that the universe is putting them down in front of us. So this is a bit of an exercise to get those blinders off, yeah? So that we're getting after our errands or on our daily commute, we're seeing the things that may be being put in our path. Why bring up the daily numbers? Well, it's just something that we can't help but notice. A sign, if you like, something that shows us directly the universe is with us there. Now, you don't have to go with the numbers I rolled for you. You can roll your own, but it's probably advisable you take a set of dice with you if you decide you want to try out this experiment here and taking the blinders off and seeing what you see, trying to drum up some coincidences or synchronicity. That said, you want to try this out. The dice are useful in getting directional values with if you ascribe them to number sets and also time limits with which to go in those directions. So let's say you get your dice figured out, your numbers, pick a place that's near and dear to your heart, or maybe a place that you haven't gotten out to yet and that you would like to explore. That's probably ideal there. So let the universe take the wheel, if you like, steer you in the directions to go in. But like I said, get those blinders off, right? You never know, the day might start to take on a little bit of a theme. And I say that because you might start to see things present themselves more often than you normally would, or maybe you just start to take notice of such things. Now, visual representational image as an example, you might start seeing people just moving hand trucks everywhere, or you might just start seeing produce in all sorts of places. I know you're probably saying, well, now that I'm on the lookout for it, I'm going to see it. It doesn't necessarily have to be those things. That's why you got to stay eagle-eyed and get the blinders off. It could be anything. So that being said, you get off on your first directional value and time limit. Maybe you aren't seeing anything outside of the scope of the everyday goings-on. That said, take a moment, compose yourself. Sometimes things aren't just apt to start touching off immediately. But maybe as you take a moment to compose yourself and look around, you just so happen to notice the simple things. That's right. Maybe you're standing on 11th Avenue or 65th Street, whatever the case. I would take that as a sign that you are on the right path. The universe has you in its care, if you like. So roll yourself another value there and time limit and set off. Maybe, like I said, with the visual representational image, at the end of that time value, maybe you find yourself in front of like a a garden store, maybe not a garden store, produce store. That's better. That's better. So you head on in there. I've been to some interesting produce stores. They have a whole cachet of, a cache rather, of just these eccentric drinks that you wouldn't see in a typical grocery, or interesting fruits and vegetables you also wouldn't find in a typical grocery store. So you know what? Take some time, go through there, see what you see. And you know what? Maybe they just so happen to have, I don't know, some kind of eclectic cabbage on sale. There you go. There's your little visual representational image. Hey, stranger things could happen. Now, you don't have to buy the thing. I would just say, hey, take it as a sign. Again, that having been said, you spent your time in the grocery. There's nothing you need. So roll yourself a dice value. And you know what? Maybe somebody sees you doing as much and like, what are you doing? There's no craps here in the produce store. Like, just explain to folks what you're doing. I know it seems crazy, but maybe show them this video. It's my birthday. I'm out here trying to see what the universe has in store for me, drum up some coincidences. And maybe they're up to say, well, that's just crazy. And you're like, I know. And they go, no, I mean, the dice thing's pretty nuts, pretty wild. But what's crazy is it's my birthday too. That's right. I like to use that example a lot because I think it's just something outside the realm of seeming possibility, but it's also within the realm of something that could happen. And you know what? You get out there, you start drumming up the coincidences, the synchronicity. You're apt to kind of see, taste, touch, feel a little bit of magic. And I would say that other people want that in their lives too. And they'll ask you what coincidences you've seen, start rattling them off. You know what? Maybe they're just so apt to join you in as much. Maybe it's not even their birthday, but I'm just saying maybe that was what the universe was leading you to, meeting a new friend, right? And maybe if they join you, it's just all the better, because as I've heard it told, the universe is apt to manifest greater results if there's more people focused on the same outcomes. So I think you get the idea. Get out there, see, taste, touch, feel, smell, taste, intuit a little bit of the magic, and you'll see why I brought it up for you. All right, let's dive in with the birthday read, shall we? Your month is January. Your day is the 28th. Your sign is 7 to 9 degrees Aquarius, of the Aquarius I period specifically. And your quality and element is a fixed air. All right, January 28th, the day of outstanding achievements. Those individuals born on January 28 are capable of extraordinary achievements. Most often these achievements are of a physical or a physicality-related nature, in which great odds must be overcome through sheer guts and determination. Yet the mental factor of this day is also very high. Without unusual willpower to give their actions force and determination, and highly conceptual abilities to guide them, such physical accomplishments would never materialize. January 28 people are very individual in their choice of challenges and interests, and the most highly evolved of this day are realistic about their capabilities, and thus, although they may appear to others as daring, even reckless, have themselves under control. Less highly evolved individuals born on this day are unsuccessful for the opposite reason: an unrealistic assessment of their capabilities, and in addition, a destructive self-consciousness or a conceit about them. And many January 28 people are quite content to sit at home and read about thrilling events or watch them on TV, and occasionally attend exciting sports, arts, and entertainment happenings. Such people have the best deal of all, is in their minds, since they can experience vicarious thrills without taking risks. Yet, inevitably, even such January 28 observers will need to see themselves as exciting figures. In reality, they need to see themselves as exciting figures in reality, and thus often involve themselves in affairs for which they are ill prepared. They are better off serving as inspirational models to their family, friends, and colleagues, assuming heroic status in the simple and decent way they handle their everyday affairs and the occasional big challenge that fate steers their way. The bolder type of January 28 personalities are stirred by a desire to perform great deeds, and it is not necessarily an overexcited or superficial one. And such January 28 individuals can be, and usually are, extremely practical as well as otherwise they would never survive! Exclamation point. Rarely, if ever, do they jump into a situation without having done some heavy groundwork first. And though their research, or through their research rather, they discover exactly what is needed to do the job. And then they just do it. However, the nature of their accomplishments generally does require a degree of fearlessness and courage. Much of what interests January 28 people is of a record-breaking variety and involves going where no man or woman has gone before. And those born on this day are thus happiest when breaking new ground, pioneering, and overcoming. It is differences, individuality, achievement, and honor which have a strong hold on them. Real dangers are, of course, getting out of touch with reality, expecting too much from themselves, and coming to see ordinary life as a drab and dull affair. Well, all right. Pretty interesting birthday breakdown, to be sure. That having been said, we're continuing on with a particular theme here that's kind of started up since the Capricorn period, and that is they hyper-focus, drill down on a theme, and they don't really branch out from there to kind of round things off. Yeah, they'll expand out, explain certain things within that particular focus, but before that particular period, the Capricorn period, they tended to round things out. They explained what people's family life may have been like, what they may be like as children or parents. But here they didn't really dive into that too much. Here they almost hyper drilled down insofar as they just examined, by and large, the different personality types that arrived or were particular to this specific day. Almost seemed redundant in a way. So any event, I'm probably getting ahead of myself. I like to provide a little bit of a commentary on what we just read. So let's dive into more about the particulars here. So January 28th, the day of outstanding achievements. You're capable of extraordinary achievements, and most of which involve physical feats that require overcoming great odds. Also, determination is involved, right? Albeit the mental aspect is also not to be underestimated, because some folks might in that particular case, as it allows you to rise to the previously mentioned ends, all right? And the reading goes on to claim that you're very individual in your choices of interests as well as challenges. And if your unusual kind of willpower weren't unique enough already. That said, the reading takes a moment to specify a dynamic which exists between the higher and the lesser evolved individuals born on this day. To say the higher may appear reckless in their efforts, but are actually quite realistic of their capabilities. And hence, they have things under control. But the lesser evolved have unrealistic ideas about their capabilities, and in turn may be otherwise overconfident in a way that can be destructive, all right? And with what sounds like the kind of attitude that may set them back in the long run. So a difference of not just ability, but humility too, by my interpretation. Not much else is said about the outside of the various ways that you're set out to establish yourself and how you go about accomplishing your goals and desires. No mention of family life, as I mentioned, or childhood, etc. Just different, albeit similar, relation with regard to how this dynamic to approach challenges is realized for those who are content to live vicariously, but may not properly prepare themselves for the exciting matters should they take the chance to effort towards as much. What else do we have? And mention of a more practical individual who prepares before they boldly jump. They said they were bold. What else here? Interesting info to have, but I kind of feel like this could have been pared down And for the sake of giving a more rounded focus on the personality as it relates to life outside the adventure. And also the lifestyle there that's just fixated on, being courageous there and taking chances. But if life to you is that hyper focused, maybe it's just that concept oriented to say everything else takes a back seat. I don't know. That's kind of up to you to decide. I don't know. It seems a little bit unrealistic. There's got to be the everyday goings on, but maybe it just is that drab to you. So even you aren't that focused on paying attention to it. But maybe the reality for you is just adventure, right? I just think that they should have said that outright more so, if that is the case. This being mentioned here, I got to pull over the book here because I ran out of space on the page. Don't get out of touch with reality, they said, all right? And I would say that's probably fairly apt, all right? So I say that because I find the best breakdowns elaborate on more than just the crux of the day's theme. So don't get out of touch with reality there, because there's so much more going on in life than just adventure, I would say. But although I would say that's an important facet also, because too many people don't really have much of it in their life. That having been said, that's been the birthday breakdown, kind of what I had to say about it. And what's interesting is I do the reads chronologically, also the notes, and so I kind of drill down on why they hyper-focus there. So let's dive into it as we segue over to your numbers and your planets. Those born on the 28th of the month are ruled by the number 1, as 2 plus 8 equals 10 and 1 plus 0 equals 1, and by the sun. And those ruled by the number 1 are of a definite viewpoint and eager to rise to the top. For January 28 people, the combination of the sun and Uranus, which is the ruler of Aquarius, can mean high-strung, nervous, and erratic tendencies. The sun symbolizes strong creative energy and fire, which should be kept flowing steadily rather than allowed to sporadically flare out of control. The latter can be the case too often, unfortunately, for January 28 people because of Uranus's destabilizing influence of the sun. Very interesting. All right, so why did I say that can explain the hyperfocus? And this is just an opinion that I have based on previous days, previous Sundays specifically. But again, I'm probably getting ahead of myself here. So the number 1 in the sun, for being of a definite viewpoint and a eagerness to rise to the top. Here we go. I was trying to understand why I was having such a difficult time with trying to break new ground with the breakdown. Ironically, right? Considering we were discussing someone whose life is all about breaking new ground, as they said in the breakdown. And here we were focusing on a sun-ruled day, whose, as they're realized, the Sundays, before we got into Capricorn and they started hyper-focusing down on things, Sundays were always hyper-focused on the theme. And here it was like they were hyper-focused, just drilling down, like I said, and they were categorizing the personalities that altogether didn't sound all too different, almost redundant, but there were very specific differences in there. And so when I saw it was a Sunday, I was like, oh, it all makes sense now. Because I was getting a little bit frustrated with the difficulty I was having trying to find more context within something that seems so similar there. So that's why I say that with the sun there. So probably lost my place here. Let's get back to it. As related by the book, by and large, these things are examined just that way, with a hyper focus. But they leaned into doing as much since the beginning of Capricorn, so while it didn't take me by surprise to that end. It took me by surprise that I didn't pick up on it. It should have occurred to me, but like I said, I kind of do this chronologically. I like to be surprised in no small part, and I definitely was here. They kind of pulled the rug out. Having said that, as coupled with Uranus, you're said to possibly be high-strung, nervous, and possess erratic tendencies. The latter is a very specific Uranus trait or a nature. But high-strung nervousness must also have its effects on the sun's strong creative energy and fire, because, Uranus is said to shake up and electrify the other planets that it comes into a co-rulership with. Although I think it's said with the moon, it kind of bolsters things. And yesterday was ruled by a Jupiter, I believe. Let me take a look here. Or no, there was not yesterday, but there was a Jupiter day that was also said to be bolstered by Uranus. So I tend to go into this thinking Uranus is always shaking things up, but I found that not every planet interacts that way, if you lend credence to astrology as it goes. I'm just going by what they say in the book here, so it's kind of a master class for me in so much, because I don't know anything about it otherwise. That having been said, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, the Uranus is said to shake up the sun's energy just a little bit. So if you find yourself nervous or in an erratic state, or maybe you're a little too close to it to understand that that's what's going on, maybe other people have to impart that to you, but that might be why, assuming you lend credence to, astrology there, and also if the breakdown even applies. It'd be interesting if you were a non-adventurous individual, because they didn't cover anybody like that in the breakdown. That having been said, that's been your numbers and your planets, so let's move on to your tarot. That's right, the tarot, one of the more eclectic of the New Age metaphysical ideologies, but hey, we don't have to take it home with us to start dealing out the cards to inspire our every whim or flight of fancy, so we can just leave it in a book. A lot of times we can make more connections and see how the day might just be that much more apt. So let's get into it, shall we? The first card of the major arcana is the Magician, who symbolizes intellect, communication, information, as well as magic. All right. And over his head is an infinity symbol, which in some tarot decks takes the form of a hat. In others, a halo. Many interpretations may be drawn, one of which is that the Magician recognizes the cyclical and unending nature of life and is empowered by this understanding. The positive traits suggested by this card include diplomatic skill and shrewdness, but negatively, a lack of scruples and opportunism. All right. What's interesting is the Magician card. It said there's a variety of different ways to interpret the thing. That's the only one they ever give. It took me a really long time to notice that, but it always kind of makes me laugh when I read that part, because I'm like, what's another interpretation? So, any event, just something of note I found interesting. So diving in here, back with the notes. The tarot, the Magician for intellect, communication, information, as well as magic. For recognizing the cyclical and unending nature of life and being empowered by this realization. Positives of diplomatic skill and shrewdness, or clever awareness in practical matters. I always forget what shrewdness means, because it always seems like you're being shrewd. It always seems like a knock. But I would say clever awareness, that's a positive thing. But a lack of scruples and opportunism for negatives. And when I was drilling down and trying to understand this, I found it's a very apt card. And I say that because the negatives and positives, when taken into account, I didn't necessarily pick up on, it seems very apt when the negatives and positives are taken into account. Clever awareness, hey, you understand what life is kind of about, and so you go after breaking new ground. And what else? You take chances, all right? Some people don't live life that way. Most people probably don't. And it sounded like it gets you excited. A lot of times people get nervous with the excitement there, the things that take courage and guts. But it sounds like it fuels your fire, your creative energy there, if you like, too, if we're incorporating the sun. Probably lost my place here. What do we got here? So the card, I say that the negatives and positives taken into account, they definitely speak to the breakdown. But I didn't pick up on the communication of information aspect there. But the birthday breakdown, again, was very sparse in what it did say, outside of relating that you serve as a role model. But I'd also say that you're able to identify the nature of life, like I said, even if you don't know it, considering your draw to making so much of it and your pressing need to redefine it, all right? So mind your opportunism, right? Don't be taking advantage of people if that's how that's realized. I'd say if you spot an opportunity and you chase after it, that's one thing. But opportunism can also be taking advantage of folks, and that's just not a good look, right? Having said that, a lack of scruples may lend to a lesser evolved kind of destruction and conceit. And they warned about that in the breakdown. So, yeah, don't let that get in there. Diplomatic skill, I also didn't necessarily see so much. But that doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't apply. But like I said, they were sparse at the breakdown, so it's really hard to find the gold in there and make it apply. And it seems like I'm kind of doing my homework to make it append to the day. Some of these just don't fit at all. Very rarely, but some just don't seem to line up at all. You really got to do homework to make them work. So that having been said, that's been your tarot. Let's move on to your health. All right, your health. Those born on January 28th may experience all kinds of difficulties with their nervous system until they get their excited nature under control. Developing willpower and self-possession are essential. And in order to do this, a course of assertiveness training, yoga, or a spiritual or religious discipline may be helpful or necessary. January 28 people can also be accident prone, particularly when they let their energies run away with them. Interesting. Having a mate or a friend who is down to earth and calm will be of an enormous benefit and complement their own, less grounded nature. Generally, January 28 people are interested in unusual delicacies, which for the sake of nutritional variety can be good for their health. Regular moderate exercise is recommended. All right. It's interesting here. They didn't say that you just normally get it because you're so adventuresome. Some folks, that tends to be the case. They don't have to worry about the exercise because they get enough of it and just being themselves. In any event, getting ahead of myself again, let's dive in with the health. Difficulties with the nervous system. Interesting, all right? I say this because, this came up yesterday also. And the nerves or the excitability, that's not necessarily a Capricorn body area. Aquarius body area. Aquarius body areas being circulatory system and the lower extremities there, your ankles and your lower legs. I said Capricorn because Capricorn is just about the same. The skeletal system and in the veins there. So nervousness is kind of interesting to come up there. And it's weird considering the lower legs and the circulatory system are the body areas. But mental self-awareness is a key to helping you, they said. Willpower balance also came up yesterday as well. And I say that as it may be the beginning of a through line. Very interesting. Outside of the through line of the self-stated body areas that came up elsewhere in the book as they were breaking down Aquarius on the whole. But this minding accidents, that's something that comes up for adventure seekers specifically because they're getting out there and they're taking chances, right? Even those that prepare themselves for such. Because there was one day in particular, I can't remember how long ago it was because it was way back, but they were huge adventure seekers, but they were very pronounced in their ability to prepare for as much because they didn't want any danger to befall them, to say. But even they got being careful because they're accident prone. And what else did they mention here that I found interesting? Don't let your energies run away with you. That would not seem to me to be why you would be accident prone. That sounds to me like you get a little too excited there and maybe you round a corner too quick there when otherwise you could have just pulled back, waited a second, and then that train would have gone by and not smashed you to pieces, right? There you go. Normally it doesn't say your excitable nature is what does it. So I found that also interesting. So don't let your energies run away with you. All right. So there's your health. Also the mention of unusual delicacies. When the Capricorn period came up, they were always mentioning to expand their culinary palette there. And I think that was to kind of say, incorporate some fresh ingredients, get your nutrition that way. Otherwise, the Capricorn diet was largely about cutting out cholesterol because, again, veins were a body area. So they said animal fats and dairy fats to get rid of them. And I bring this up for you, not just because of Capricorn, because of the similarities in the body areas. So maybe lend some consideration to cutting out the cholesterol there. And if you got the weak ankles, maybe your glucosamine and chondroitin, as well as your calcium supplements, though they didn't mention as much. That having been said, don't forget your compression socks either, because stroke and embolism issues have been presenting through the Aquarius health entries here, but not here for you, surprisingly. In any event, that's been your health, so let's move on to some advice. All right, your advice. Keep hold of the tiger's tail. Don't be so easily swept away by the next new wonder. And cultivate a calm patience and a realistic idea of your capabilities. And look before you leap. That's right. The old train metaphor there. How about that? All right, so your advice. What did I have to say? What did they have to say? All right, let's dive into it. I got to read it from the book because I ran out of space on the page. All right, keep a hold of that tiger tail, they said, and don't get easily swept away by the next wonder. I didn't get the idea that you were flighty. That's kind of what I'm taking from this. Where I missed my place already. At least when it came to your adventures, all right, you were hard pressed to get after them, is what I took away from it. Maybe this applies more so to your everyday life, but they really didn't dive into it. So who's to say? So maybe, mind you, don't lose those you care about in your life because you're so focused on adventure. I would posit maybe that's the tiger's tail you need to hold on to, the life outside of the chase, if you like. Because for Capricorn specifically, and I know I keep diving back into Capricorn and that's not you, but they were so focused on the career or their cause that the family life fell behind. And I see a little bit of that with you, especially if we go by what the breakdown gave me. You're focused on that adventure, right? So yeah, don't let the things that are right in front of you escape you because you're focused on what's down the line, I would say. What else do we have here? Cultivate calm patience and a realistic idea of your capabilities. They said at least one or two of you is able to do that, but some of the others, maybe not so much. So balance, all right? Be down to earth. They said you got to keep your head in reality there to some extent, which is also interesting because you're not a Neptune day, you're a Sun day, and I don't usually get the idea that those folks have their head in the clouds or don't have a conception based in reality, but maybe Uranus is coming in and shaking that up. So it's an interesting note to get here to stay down to earth to some extent. You've also got the other thing down pat, right? So lend credence to the more boring people, what more boring people excel at, and you'll be unstoppable in that matter of things. That's right. Expand yourself out a little bit. Give yourself a little bit of time to do the other things, and then you'll be an unstoppable force. Because I would say when it comes to the boring things, you're not able to do it, right? That's where you get nervous because you feel like your hands are tied. You're a little claustrophobic when things get boring. But if you're able to expand into that, boom, unstoppable force, I would say. Look before you leap, they said. All right, same argument, albeit, mind you don't take a risk that you would have deemed unnecessary if you had just taken a beat to assess it, right? I would say you want to be around to take on other adventures, right? And with that, if you don't want to do so without broken ankles, right? Or without a dismembered body because you got hit by a train. That's right. So take a beat, see what's around the corner, and then press on. And then jump over the tracks there if you like. And don't break your ankles. That's right. So that's been your advice. Let's move on to your meditation. That's right. It's your birthday. You get a meditation. Here we go. There are ever-recurring miracles in everyday events. Oh, I like this one for you. I think I know why they brought it up. Actually, I can think of two reasons. In any event, there are ever-recurring miracles in everyday events. All right, there's your meditation. It's your birthday. I'm not going to throw my interpretation or spin on it for you. It would defeat the purpose of it being a meditation. Although I can see a variety of reasons why this applies to you already. Very good one there. So in any event, your meditation in the can, as it were. Let's move on to your strengths and your weaknesses. Let's hold up the objective mirror and see where you got the girth and where you otherwise maybe a little more atrophied, if you like. All right, your strengths, you're gutsy, you're strong-willed, and you're driven. All right, I like it. Sounds good. I think we can take that from the breakdown there for sure. But your weaknesses, oh, let's hold up that objective mirror once more, but flip it to the side that blows up your face there. Shows off the things you might otherwise be a little more superficially insecure about, if you like. That's right, your weaknesses. So what do we got? Overexcitable. Oh, the nerves coming into the game here. Sensationalist and impulsive. Okay, sensationalist. I don't think I picked up on this one in the breakdown. Doesn't mean it doesn't apply, though, right? I'd say some adventure seekers, yeah, with their heart, that might be what they're doing, right? Trying to shake things up, show off a little bit. Hey, why it's a weakness? I don't know. Maybe there's just a little bit too much of bravado. You know, a lot of times I like to say if our weaknesses are something we want to improve upon, our strengths are going to help us do that. Now, I don't go into this trying to assess this beforehand, so let's see what I can do here. Let's see if I can make a case for my argument. You're gutsy, you're strong-willed, and you're driven. Hey, these are great strengths to overcome weaknesses, or just about any obstacle, I would argue. If you're gutsy, you're going to take the chances that are necessary, right? Or maybe even those that aren't. Strong-willed, hey, no matter the obstacle that comes up against you, you're going to keep trying to overcome it. And you're driven, same argument, all right? You're going to plow through that wall if you have to, all right? But your weaknesses, you know, a lot of times I also like to argue they can be strengths as well. It just depends on the situation as well as the individual. And I say that too, and here is a complement to my argument. I saw impulsive trade back and forth from a strength to a weakness from one day to the next some months ago. And it got me thinking about this line of track, like, hey, if it's a weakness here but a strength here, where's the disconnect? So very interesting there. So like I said, I think weaknesses in some cases can be a strength. Just depends on the situation. Overexcitable, sensationalist, impulsive. Hey, you know what? If you're out there making content, you might have to drill down on those once in a while to keep the viewers interested, right? A little bit of dynamism there. I don't know. It's just, I'm just reaching into the bag, seeing what comes out. That's an idea there. Overexcitable, though, I could totally understand why these things are seen as a weakness, probably because the hyper focus you have on them. But I think the argument still stands. There are situations where they're going to be a strength for you. But that having been said, if these are something that you want to work on, maybe par back just a little bit, I would say don't get rid of them altogether because they make us who we are. That's right. So in any event, that's your strengths and your weaknesses. So let's move on to those born on this day. And when we get into those born on this day, something I like to do is not only see who shares your company, but look at it through the prism of chasing our passions. That's right. Let's see this as an opportunity to see what other people did, to not only get in the book, but maybe put their stamp on the cultural zeitgeist, if you like. Because all too often I get out in the world and I meet people and I ask them what they do, and more importantly, if they like it, and they don't. Because, you know, they just got out of school and they got into the first job that came along to help them make ends meet. Or maybe they traded back and forth between a few before they finally landed on the one that they were kind of comfortable with, and then they just started climbing that corporate ladder because they've been there for so long. And now they're kind of stuck in a rut, right? Because, you know, I'm going to roll out of bed, do what's easy, keep my coffers filling up, maintain that stability. But at the very, very root of it, the fatal flaw is that it's not something they ever liked to do, let alone have a passion for. I think that's often the case. And I think it's important that we're jumping out of bed in the morning, eager to get on with our day and chase after something that we find fulfillment in. It's a little adventurous, if you like. So I think this is the perfect opportunity to examine that, or at least look at it through that prism as we get to see who shares your company. Because I think it's huge that we're chasing after such things. Now, if you already have a passion, hey, that's great. The hat I'm not wearing is off to you. But hey, maybe take this as an opportunity to find out how to make it financially viable. And if you're doing that already, well, hey, and then you just take this as people who share your birthday there. So let's look at it for that and get on with it. All right, here we go. We start off with Colette, a French actress, novelist of the work called Gigi. We also have Arthur Rubinstein, a Polish-born pianist, a Chopin interpreter, and performed well into his 90s. I don't know, it doesn't necessarily sound like an adventurous type there, but hey, fingers don't get particularly stronger at that age. That takes some guts there, right there. All right, we have Mikhail Baryshnikov, a Russian-born ballet dancer and a choreographer, as well as a film and a stage actor. That takes guts also. What else do we have here? We have Jackson Pollock, or Pollock perhaps, can't remember how to say it, an action painter and died in a car crash. Boy, they don't really expound on him much. I would have thought he'd get more than that. Any event, I'm not expanding on it either so much because I know who he is and what he did, but it's kind of hard to encapsulate, right? Very adventure-oriented, I would say. Anyhow, at least within his respective field. All right, moving on. Klaus Oldenburg, an artist. Bill White, a National League Baseball president and the top African-American sports executive. Also a first baseman and a 7-time Gold Glover. We also have Auguste Piccard, a Swiss physicist, and ascended 53,000 feet in a balloon. Descended 10,000 feet in an ocean bathysphere and a twin of Jean, or Jean, perhaps. A bathysphere, I'm not even sure what that is, but 10,000 feet and 53,000 feet in a balloon? There's some adventure for you. All right, moving on. Jean Piccard, there we go. Yeah, it's probably like Jean-Luc, right? Swiss aeronautical engineer and a chemist. Not a deep diver like his brother there, but you know, hey, he's still his own right. All right, Sir Henry Morton Stanley, a Welsh-British African explorer, and he found the living stone in the jungle. That sounds interesting. I don't know what that's about. That was Sir Henry Morton Stanley and the Living Stone, if you're interested in looking that up. Charles George Gordon, a British Army officer, and he commanded the Chinese forces and was killed at Khartoum. Another interesting sounding one. We also have Henry VII, the British king, Perry O'Brien, a U.S. Olympic 2 gold medal winning a shot putter, Alan Alda, the film, TV actor, and director. We also have Captain McClure, who was a 19th century Arctic voyager. Now, once more, some adventure. Ronnie Scott, the British tenor saxophonist and a club owner. We have Sojeke Dijkstra, a Dutch woman's Olympic figure skating gold medalist. We also have Richmond Barth, a realist sculptor. David Stanley Evans, British astronomer, writer of Under Capricorn. Capricorn keeps coming up even for you Aquarius is there. And Bob Moses, a jazz drummer and a composer. All right, hey, I know I butchered some names in there, so let's do so on my side of things, make up for it. It's not done in malice, it's just hooked on phonics. Often doesn't work for me with the names there. But that having been said, hey, I know it's a big-ass hard sell to take inspiration from other people's ostensible passions or the things they did to get in the book, but I think the argument still stands. Putting the bug in your ear about as much, helping you stir up the fires, hey, it's a worthy attempt to cause, because if I can wish for anything on your birthday, it's that you're driving after that particular purpose, all right? Because we should be getting fulfillment out of life, all right? At least I would argue. That having been said, that essentially rounds out your birthday reading. Except to say your season is winter, your sign, once again, is Aquarius, not Capricorn, I'm well aware. And your period in particular is Aquarius I. And your elements and quality, like I said at the top, or quality and elements rather, is fixed air. And what does that mean? Different video altogether. I'll leave it at the end for you so you can dive in further if you're interested. But this has been January 28th. The day of outstanding achievement. Don't know that we made connotations with the hand truck and the oversized cabbage or vice versa, but here nor there. Some interesting, visuals to be sure. And it's running with the theme, as I mentioned. But that having been said, this has been The Secret Language of Birthdays by Gary Goldschneider and you Stelfers. And I have an affiliate link for this book down in the description if you want to purchase your own copy. This makes an excellent coffee table book, and it's bound to get the conversation started for better or for worse. It's a party. If that's not something that you want to do for yourself, yeah, let the book do the heavy lifting and get the thing started for better or for worse. It's going to get the conversation flowing for sure. It also supports the channel in the bargain, which I appreciate. But that having been said, the book not altogether important, because like I said at the top, what's important around here, wishing you a happy birthday. If nothing else, wishing you a happy birthday. But for everybody else who joined us randomly, who stuck around to find out all about January 28th, I just want to say I hope you enjoyed yourself and you join us for your birthday reading. But before I forget, that's right, we're going to bring it back around to the top. Boom, your daily numbers, your 5 and your 6 for an 11. Get out there, let the universe show you it's with you on your path. Drum up some synchronicities, stack up some coincidences. You can use them interchangeably if you like. And you're going to understand why I brought it up in the first place. And at the very least, hey, it's an opportunity to do something fun or interesting on your birthday and get the steps in, even if you don't see anything universal. I would say just putting the effort out there is going to pay off dividends, even if you don't see anything like that kind of come into your path. So in any event, once again, happy birthday. Get you a pair of compression socks to take care of those veins and those ankles there and get out on some adventure. But look before you leave. That's right. We need you here. All right. Take care of yourselves. And once again, happy birthday. Oh, also, it's been a pleasure to share your time. I appreciate it, and a privilege to celebrate your birthday with you. I always want to say it, but I often forget, and you can probably understand why, everything else I had to say. So in any event, once again, happy birthday. Take care of yourselves.